Joining us now, Ms. Vidya Reddy, who works with Thulir, an organization that works against child sexual abuse. Vidya, thank you very much for your time. In this instance, Scripture Union leadership says they learned about this 2 months ago when one of the past students had complained about such a harassment. But they took internal action, but they did not report. How do you see this?
Well, it seems to be then a contravention of a POCSO, because the Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act very clearly states that even if you have an apprehension of an offence, you are supposed to report it, which doesn't seem to have happened, one. And more importantly, if the organisation did not report it, even though the person concerned is just an employee, they are then liable for imprisonment and fine. So I think this actually was brought into POCSO because there was often an cover-up of abuse in institutions. And that's really a serious concern because many children could be potential victims of an abuser.
Right. And what is the larger picture whenever we hear such issues?
You know, Sam, I think what is very unfortunate is that this is being looked at by some sections as, oh, this is the church again, and the problems of the church and pedophilic priests. I think we need to understand that at any child or youth serving facility where large numbers of children will congregate, you will always have people who have a sexual interest in children gravitating to work in these settings because of the proximity and access they have to the children and the guise under which they can then access the kids.
Right. And Vidya, these teams have been working with children in many schools over the years. And how can we ensure that other children who perhaps suffered similar harassment would be encouraged to report now?
Oh, worldwide disclosure is appallingly low. Disclosure, that is not reporting. Disclosure, for instance, me just telling a friend or somebody else that I was abused is not more than 12 to 20%. So we don't even know the larger number of people who never disclose abuse as children. Maybe they will talk about it as adults, maybe in a different context. So disclosure, the barriers to disclosure are many. In this particular case, it seems like the person concerned was absolutely consummate in grooming a child. Grooming a child is making the child feel complicit in this relationship which is being established with the idea of future exploitation and abuse.
They saying that this former student is an adult now and that her parents say she's an adult and suggesting that they both had a kind of a romantic relationship.
Well, if the abuse happened before she turned 18, I would think the word romance there is extremely misplaced because below 18 there is no room for any kind of romance really allowed under the law. And the romance is often used because people don't really understand the concept of grooming, where the abuser makes the child feel complicit. It could be various ways, through giving affection, games, through, there's a whole bunch. They're absolutely, abusers, one thing with abusers is they're absolutely creatively manipulative.
Right.
And this seems to be the case from the kind of conversations they've had with the kids.
In terms of statistics, how big, how large is this problem?
Sam, with sexual violence, I have no regard for statistics. I believe there are lies, damn lies in statistics. And to me, it's it's certainly prevalent, but I will not ever subscribe to numbers.
Conviction rate, like in this case, they say they have suspended 2 people, they will sack them if they're found guilty. But in terms of conviction legally, what's the picture?
See, there is justice and there is justice. Now, conviction is if you engage with the criminal justice system. But we first have to, I think that's putting the cart before the horse, because you first need to look at how is the criminal justice system implemented and how does it pan out. So conviction is just further down the line.
Thank you so much for your time, Vidya. That was Vidya from Thulir talking to us in Chennai with camera person Edwin. Sam Daniel, Find TV.